of years since time.
Good evening and welcome to Radio Guy Online News. My name is Adelaide Ofeo Bobisa. Now to the headlines. The National Inspectorate Board has called on private school proprietors to engage parents to reach a consensus on fees to be charged for virtual learning. The vice presidential candidate of the National Democratic Congress, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has called on the people of Awaso in the Bebiani Awaso Bekwai constituency of the Western North region to take into account policies implemented by the erstwhile John Mahama administration, which enhance the socio-economic development of their area as they make the decision to vote in the December 7 elections. Mali's ousted President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita has been admitted to a hospital in the capital, Bamako. And now to our first story. The National Inspectorate Board has called on private school proprietors to engage parents to reach a consensus on fees to be charged for virtual learning. The plight of private school teachers have worsened since the coronavirus pandemic forced schools to close down nearly 6 months ago. There are fears some private schools will collapse soon as a result of the lack of students in these private schools. The agitations come after the president, during the 16th update on COVID-19, noted that the Ghana Education Service, after further consultations, has decided to postpone the remainder of the academic year to January 2021 for all nursery, kindergarten, primary, JHS 1 and SHS 1 students. But the NIB, in a statement, has urged the private schools to optimize the distance learning programs being rolled out by the Education Ministry in collaboration with the Ministry of Communication as a stopgap measure to mitigate their plight amid the coronavirus disruptions. The Vice President candidate of the National Democratic Congress, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has called on the people of Awaso in the Bebiani Awaso Bekwai constituency of the Western North region to take into account policies implemented by the erstwhile John Dramani Mahama administration, which enhance the socio-economic development of their area as they make the decision to vote in the December 7 elections. She said this while addressing teaming supporters of the NDC who came out to welcome her as she began a 4-day tour of the region. The NDC running mates noted that there must be peace for the country to achieve the development that people are yearning for, and invited all to pursue that path as the country heads into the election season. She, however, urged them to resist any form of intimidation, as all Ghanaians have equal rights. She highlighted inclusivity as the foundation of the country's success, adding that equity in the allocation of resources for all Ghanaians will be the trademark of the next Mahama government. Professor Opoku-Agyeman also urged the people to jealously guard their voters' identification cards in order to have the opportunity to vote massively for Mr. Mahama and the NDC's parliamentary candidates on election day. To our fourth story, Thousands of people on Tuesday night welcomed the presidential candidate of the National Democratic Congress (NDC), Mr. John Dramani Mahama, to the Upper West Regional capital, Wa. He was met by several thousands of motorbike riders amid joyous songs and dance, and was taken through the principal streets of Wa. Mr. Mahama arrived a day early to embark on a 4-day tour of the Upper West region from Wednesday to Saturday. He will meet with chiefs, opinion leaders, organized groups, and leaders of the religious bodies. The NDC presidential candidate will also address people in various communities during his tour of the Upper West region. Mr. Mahama is expected to return to Accra on Sunday ahead of the launch of his party's manifesto for the 2020 elections. Already, the NDC's vice presidential candidate, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, is on a tour of the Western North region. She's also expected to wrap up her tour by the weekend and return to Accra in good time for the NDC's manifesto launch early next week. In international news, resident doctors in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, will begin an indefinite strike on Tuesday morning over non-payment of what they term as COVID-19 hazard and inducement allowance since April. The Association of Resident Doctors said the authorities had failed to fulfill pledges to pay its members who are working in corona isolation and treatment centers as well as hospitals. It said the strike comes after the expiry of a 14-day ultimatum it had given the authorities. The association's leaders, in a statement, said they also want the government to address non-payment of promotion arrears since 2016, non-remittance of deductions including pensions, and non-payment of rural allowances. The authorities in the Nigerian capital have not yet commented on the strike, but the doctors have vowed they will not go back to work until their demands are met. Nigeria has so far confirmed 54,008 coronavirus cases, with 41,638 recoveries and 1,013 deaths, according to the country's Center for Disease Control. The capital, Abuja, is the second worst hit after the commercial hub, Lagos, but the country's number of daily confirmed infections are beginning to decline. Mali's ousted president, Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta, has been admitted to a hospital in the capital, Bamako, according to Associated Press reports. It's quoted to anonymous resources at a clinic where the former leader is reportedly being treated. The 75-year-old was detained for 10 days by the military junta before he announced his resignation and was later freed to stay at his home. During medication talks, he was quoted as saying that he was not interested in the presidency. The opposition had been calling for his resignation for months, blaming him for economic decline, corruption, and a failure to contain a jihadist insurgency. The Ministry of Gender, in other local stories, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection and the Parliamentary Select Committee on Gender, Children and Social Protection is set to present a report on the witches' menace in Accra to the Speaker of Parliament. The report seeks to address the issue of witchcraft accusations that has resulted in the creation of witch camps in some parts of the country. Speaking to the media, the sector minister noted that works on the reports are far advanced and will be presented to the Speaker for debate to help draft a policy to permanency addressed the issue of witchcraft accusations in the country. She further expressed commitment in ensuring a swift prosecution of persons involved in lynching women who are accused of witchcraft. And in sports, President of the Ghana Football Association, Kurt Okraku, has assured fans of the sports in the country that football will return soon. Speaking at the GFA's 26th Ordinary Congress at Prampram, Kurt Okraku stated that despite the retention of the existing ban on contact sports, including football, by the president last Sunday, Nana Akufo-Addo's utterances indicated that plans to bring back the sport were being considered seriously. Many sports in the country have been on hold since Ghana recorded its first COVID-19 cases back in March. The ban on non-contact sports was eventually lifted at the end of June. Some of the country's national football teams have also been given special permission to train ahead of their upcoming engagements. However, contact sports in the country generally remain embargoed due to the increased risk of transmission of the disease. Speaking in his 16th COVID-19 update on Sunday, the president said that a decision would be taken in the next couple of weeks. The GFA president noted that these comments were encouraging and suggested the imminent return of the game in Ghana. He added that when football activities are allowed to resume, the current administration will work to ensure the games prospers. In other sports, the Court of Arbitration for Sport has dismissed Tema youth owner Wilfred Osei-Kweku Palmer's appeal against the Ghana Football Association. Palmer went to the Swiss courts challenging his disqualification from contesting the GFA presidential elections in October 2019, which Kurt Okraku won. Palmer wanted the GFA elections annulled and his candidacy reinstated for fresh elections to be held. However, in a letter addressed to both parties and signed by the president of the panel, Michel Bernasconi, GAS backed the decision of the GFA to disqualify Palmer from contesting the elections. And in entertainment, the newly crowned Artist of the Year, Eugene Kwame Mafo, popularly known as Kwame Eugene in the showbiz industry, has rated himself 75%. He said he wanted extra hard last year, a situation that resulted in his crowning as the Artist of the Year in the just ended Vodafone Music Awards. Speaking on 3FM's Urban Blend Monday, August 31st, he said his album, which made him win the award, fared very well in the market. Kwame Eugene, awarded of stiff competition from the likes of Sir Kodie, Kofi Kinata, Diana Hamilton, and Medical, to emerge the Artist of the Year. And this ends Radio Guy Evening News. My name is Adelaide Ofe Obobisa. Have a good evening.